Boy, I sure do love survival horror, but I've played through RE4 a dozen times already. Sigh, I wish there was another survival horror made by Capcom that came out in 2005. Yeah, that works. Haunting Ground, a survival horror game that plunges players into a realm of psychological terror and suspense. Developed by Capcom for the PlayStation 2, Haunting Ground, or Demento in Japan, invites players to explore mysterious castles swarming with danger and dark secrets. A lot of the people who worked on Haunting Ground also worked on another survival horror game, Clock Tower 3. In fact, before it became Haunting Ground, it was rumored to be Clock Tower 4, and because of this it's considered a spiritual successor to the Clock Tower games, sharing many story and gameplay elements but ultimately carving its own identity while retaining echoes of its predecessor's themes of vulnerability and isolation. Haunting Ground was released in 2005, despite initial setbacks due to poor marketing and competition from other titles. Years later, it would become a cult classic among horror enthusiasts praised for its atmospheric visuals, unique gameplay, and unforgettable characters. And just a disclaimer, I will be showing cutscenes in their entirety and staying quiet during them for the full experience, and there are a lot. So without further ado, let's begin.
Huey.
So right from the start, we're thrust into the game's ominous atmosphere with our protagonist Fiona locked up for unknown reasons. We have no idea how Fiona came to be in such a dire situation, but as we go through the game, we'll learn more. The cutscene also showed us a man with a toddler-like demeanor. He's very obviously not in his right mind, seeing as he was scared off by lightning. And just like with the other Clock Tower games, Haunting Ground also has fixed camera angles. Not much in this beginning area to do though, other than going up these stairs and entering the castle. An interesting thing to note, when going from room to room, there aren't actually any loading screens. The only times we get loading screens are in between cutscenes. Also, I'd like to point out how strong-willed Fiona is, being able to crack a joke at a time like this. Not sure if I would be of the same mind if I was in her position.
I've gathered some clothes for you. Wait! Don't go. Excuse me, but where are we? And how did I get here?
Yes, Master. We will keep her here for a while. I will make sure she stays comfortable.
Two more residents of the castle, a maiden or master. Whether the master is the portrait of the man, or the peeping Tom behind it, we have no idea. Either way, let's get out of this bedsheet and put on some actual clothes.
Wait a minute. I remember being in the car with...
Now that we have the proper female horror protagonist attire, we can use other action commands like kicking, using items, tackling, crouching, and the infamous Korean backdashing. The cutscene also drew attention to Fiona's stomach, and if you paid attention, you might have noticed this marking on her back. Definitely remember that for later. Also pay attention to the sound of clocks, because they are the game's save point, further evidence of Haunting Ground perhaps being Clock Tower 4. We head back outside and kick over these urns for a few items and check out this locked gate. The items we pick up include a medallion, which is used for alchemy, not that we can do that now, magnesia, a trap that we can place on the ground, and chamomile, which restores our stamina. In the options, we can also see Fiona's comments on what's happened so far in the game, which can provide us some more insight on the events that have and will happen. The tutorial mentions that tackling drains our stamina, while running drains it as well. It's kinda subtle, but you'll notice that at full stamina, Fiona runs with both arms swinging, but slowly over time the swinging gets smaller and her left arm will get closer to her body. So it's something we do have to pay attention to while playing this game, because it's our only indicator of our stamina. Back inside, we watch some TV. Outside the bedroom, we head downstairs for an antinomy powder, another consumable item used to stun enemies. Upstairs and through this door, we arrive to a corridor. We as the player very obviously see blood splattered on this column. Fiona, however, does not notice it. Going up to the column and examining it will do this. This is panic mode, a mechanic that was present in the Clock Tower games makes its return here. When in panic mode, the game loses its color and a pulsating effect will happen representing Fiona's heart rate. The pulse will also delay the state of the game, so while you can still move around, it will take a moment for the game to display what the actual state of the game is. Panic mode is set off by Fiona being frightened or when she's in dangerous situations. As we go further down the corridor, we can hear the faint panting of something. So we're gonna ignore it by stepping into this library for a bit. There isn't much here, just a locked drawer, a chalkboard explaining what luminescents are, not that we have any idea what it's talking about, and some lavender, an item that can reduce Fiona's panic. Well, back out to the corridor we go.
I gotta get out of here!
Just like with Clock Tower, this game features stalkers. Stalkers are enemies that will follow you throughout the game, and being too close to a stalker will cause us to go into panic mode. And if it wasn't obvious, Fiona is not a fighter, so we don't have any real way to deal with the big lug other than with the magnesium and the antinomy powder we picked up earlier. But I'm an item hoarder, so for now we're just going to run away to the bedroom where the game will tell us that we can hide from stalkers. We do have to be mindful of hiding in the same spot over and over because enemies will eventually catch on. Anyway, we take cover under the bed. Man, can I just say I really miss this era of gaming? They really don't make them like this anymore. Anyway, we make our way back to where we first encountered What's-His-Face, and we can pick up his doll. Or not, because he's right behind us. So this is the main stalker mechanic coming into play here. They're always wandering around somewhere off screen, and they will be alerted to your position if you make too much noise, like when breaking items or even when Fiona is running. Apparently, a stalker will also appear once every 30 minutes, so no matter how much or how little noise you're making, these guys will be unavoidable when exploring the castle. Anyway, we lose him again by taking cover under the bed, and now we can pick up his doll. Examining his doll, we can see that his name is Debilitas, which in Latin means weakness, probably referring to his weak state of mind. It also states that this is his favorite plaything, but seeing as how he threw it away when he saw Fiona, he either wasn't very attached to it, or Fiona has become his new plaything. In this next room, we're face to face with a golem that has a slot in its chest, and this old parchment here tells us that its name is Emeth. This is referencing a Jewish folktale known as the Golem of Kelm, where the Rabbi Elijah created a golem and brought it to life by inscribing the word emeth on its head. The word emeth, or emet, meaning truth in Hebrew. Not much else here, so down the other way we enter a room with a typewriter.
It's not a computer, that's for sure. It has alphabetic keys, though.
We can see at the bottom right that we have 10 uses with the typewriter. Luckily, I have 500 IQ, and I realize that the only clue we have with what to type here is emeth. We take this back to the golem, and what do you know, it works. I'm really happy that didn't backfire horribly on us and the golem isn't a second stalker we have to worry about. In this next room we have some oddities, the most notable one being these missing stairs.
Now all we have to do is go up the... What happened to the stairs?
And this bench facing the wrong way. Like, what's up with that? There's 2 doors here, the first one is locked, so that only leaves us with option 2. As we go through this corridor, we see some barrels we can interact with. Here the game tells us that we can hide in the shadows behind objects. So it's cool we're not just relying on designated hiding spots. Speaking of hiding spots, I forgot to mention that hiding is a core mechanic in all the other Clock Tower games. And it works pretty much the same there as it does here. Look at how the game uses the fixed camera to draw your attention to this key. If we choose to, we can look around the room first, but I figured the developers did this for a reason, so I indulged them and go straight for it.
Ah, Fiona. I see you finally awakened. There's something that I've wanted to show you for quite some time. Pull away that sheet behind you. That, my dear, is what you will become in the future. Go ahead. You may touch it. You will be mine, Fiona.
Man, what a creep. We can only assume he's the head honcho of this castle, and his motives, as far as we can tell right now, is to have Fiona impregnated and or turned into an effigy of some sort. Which is why the game turned our attention to her stomach in that earlier cutscene. So, yeah, we don't like that guy. As to why he wants Fiona impregnated, well, we don't know. Could be he needs an heir to the castle, or maybe he's just really into Fiona. Also, I'm pretty sure this is the first time Fiona's name is mentioned. With our brand spanking new key, we use it on door number 1 from before. These are the luminescents that we read about earlier, balls of light that will float towards Fiona and put her in panic mode and also create noise. They fade on their own over time, or you can go into a different room and shut the door to stop them from tracking you. There's a couple of interesting things in this room. The first one's this giant button on the ground that activates, something. Can't really do much with it at the moment. A door with no knob and a giant eyeball. The words pupacella are written on it. Fiona does me the favor of translating it from Latin to puppet room. Goes to show how well educated she is. A little further there's a breakable wall, and downstairs is a cracked plate key with the letters RE written on it. And this red mechanism with a slot in it, much like the golem from earlier. Our next order of business is having a midnight snack in this kitchen. After grabbing a bite to eat, we go down to the wine cellar where we can pick up a map to the castle, and for some reason, the map isn't automatically displayed in the map tab. You have to use it as an item first. Definitely an odd choice, not sure why they wouldn't just cut out the middleman.
Please excuse me, miss. I am Ricardo, keeper of the castle. So sorry to hear about your accident. Your parents. As Master Ugo and Mistress Ayla are both deceased, you, Miss Fiona, are the sole surviving heir of Belly Castle. Are you in pain, miss? Will you be alright? You've had a long day. Please, rest upstairs. Your bed has been prepared.
just a dream. This can't be happening to me. It can't be. Oh.
So Fiona is the heir to Castle Belly, which sort of answers why she's here to begin with, but it raises another question. Who exactly is Ricardo? He saves Fiona out of the car crash and stops Debilitas, but why was she even locked up to begin with and left to wander the castle this entire time? For now though, we take a page out of Leon's book and go save a dog.
Go now, and don't get caught this time. Go.
It's really sweet that Fiona takes the time to save this dog. Hopefully at least one of them can escape this nightmare. Well, time to get back to exploring. The locked gate from before is now opened. On the other side is what seems to be a garbage heap with the very obvious bright red, thing up there. And some more locked doors, because it isn't survival horror if everything isn't locked. Really driving home the helplessness here. Seeing as how we can't go this way, we don't really have another choice but to go back inside.
Hey, it's that dog.
Thank you. You saved me. Come here. Come on, boy. What's your name? Huey? So you're Huey? Well, hi, Huey.